The current Labyrinth event has turned the market upside down in Escape from Tarkov. That applies to loot, it applies to crafting goods, it applies to barters, and everything in between. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a good way to make decent money in the Hideout. In fact, right now, you can make more money in the Hideout than I think I've ever seen in all my years of playing Tarkov. With the player base burning through high-end ammo and armor like a wildfire, the items that are required to maintain that gear are in much higher demand, which opens up a huge opportunity for anyone willing to spend a little bit of time running crafts. The best part is, even if you only have level 1 or 2 hideout modules, there's still a ton of money to be made. All in, you'll easily be able to make about 400k an hour from nothing more than a few simple crafts. And if you really push your boundaries, you can easily get over 500k an hour. Now, this video should be good throughout the entirety of the event itself, no matter how long that lasts. But if you are stumbling across this after the Labyrinth event is over, make sure you go back to my channel and look for a more recent crafting guide, because this stuff's not going to stay the way it is once the event finishes. So without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. All right, let's hammer out a few of these straightforward crafts, the ones that don't matter too much, and get them out of the way real quick. First up is going to be the Intel Center. And yes, you're going to need Intel 2 and 3 to make these work, but they're pretty straightforward. Access cards and Intels. Just craft those. You don't even need to worry about prices. You don't need to worry about anything. Just buy the stuff, craft them, and then sell what you make, and you're going to make decent money. With that is Moonshine. This one, unfortunately, is just a break-even craft. You can craft it if you want. I do, just to keep things churning in the Hideout. But if you're after making money, don't be crafting Moonshine, just sell your super waters. All right, so first up, let's look at the lavatory as far as detail, and it's pretty straightforward here. Now, while the crafts like Cordura and Ripstop and stuff like that, they kind of make you a little bit of money, and you can do those if you want. The big one to point out is the F5 Switchblade backpack, which is on Lavatory 2. Market prices right now, with Ripstop and Cordura being about 21,000, and Fleece at 8, and Bleach at 10, you make about 30k an hour because the Switchblades are selling for 90k, and you can even push 95k on these some evenings. And if you're watching this Friday or Saturday as the weekend comes in, this might even get higher. So aside from the other crafts, this is going to be the one you lean into. If you've only got a level 1 lavatory, you can make money on soap. Just buy your components that sell for about 13k, and you're going to do okay. But hopefully at this stage, most of you have pushed to level 2 lavatory. It's not too hard to get, and it's worth the extra crafts you get out of it, because things like mag cases and stuff like that. Now, jumping right into the workbench, which I usually save for the end, but I wanted to hook you guys with how much money you can make here and really show you that it's worthwhile. Straight up, the simplest craft here to make a ton of money is the Hawk gunpowder. Now, make sure you're doing the right one. It has to be the one that takes a kite, an eagle, matches. Do not do the one that uses an OFZ shell. I mean, it still makes you money, but nowhere near as much. The other part is this is on a level 1 workbench, so everybody can do it. Now, I'm not going to go into the prices of kite and eagle and matches, because it doesn't matter. There is so much profit margin here. Just buy the components, craft the red gunpowders, and then turn around and sell, if you can, 65k. And that might be a little high, and sometimes you might get more. But even if you're down around 62, like let's go to 60k, you're still going to make a ton of money. You're still pushing 140,000 an hour out of your Hawk gunpowder. So crafting this is big money. Now, if for some reason you don't want to craft this, or you're trying to alternate your crafts to level that crafting skill, which if you didn't know, that's what you need to do. You need to alternate a craft in order to get the most skill points out of crafting. Broken LCDs are also, oddly enough, a killer craft right now. You buy the 4 LCDs, and I think you can even barter for these. Either way, you get those, turn them into broken LCDs, turn around and sell those broken LCDs for about 34k, and you're going to net 100k an hour. Now, the problem, I don't say the problem, the only thing you got to watch out here for is the broken LCDs are a little more volatile. It'll be as low as 25k and sometimes as high as 45k. So you might have to let them sit on the market a little bit to get the most out of them. But again, that also means there's a little more upside, so you can make more than 100k out of them if you're patient and you're willing to sell bigger stacks. Now from here, the Medstation, the first craft is Propitols. And I say there's a caveat here, a huge asterisk. It can make you about 90k an hour, but that is under the consideration that you're using your golden stars, which I do. I use them down to 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 if I can, and then I turn them into Propitols. And I basically count that cost as sunk into my raids, just like food and ammo and everything else, and don't count it towards the craft. If you want to just straight up buy the golden stars and craft them, you're still going to make about 45 to 50k an hour, depending on where you sell your Propitols. Shoot for 38, but some days it's 37 or 36, just kind of depends on where it's at. Now, aside from this one with a little bit of work, SJ6s right now for the event are killer. And that's because a lot of people hit an SJ6 to sprint for resort to try to get in quick first. So that's just set the prices through the roof, even though there's tons of stims available down there. This one you do need to watch the prices on though, because they can jump. And if you spend too much, it will really dive into the profits. I mean, for the most part, you can just spend whatever you want on them. You're going to do okay. But if you really want to get the most bang for it, don't spend any more than 40K on SJ1s. Meds shoot for about 30K. The NaCls, the NaCls, and yes, I know it's saline solution, but the game says NaCl. So everybody chill out on that. 45,000 on your NaCls or less, and vitamins 20,000 or less. And yes, you can get these lower, and yes, that's just more upside for you. The big part is to shoot for 130K sell on the SJ6s. They will be cheaper than that, but if you sell a stack of them, list them for 130K. I have not had a problem selling for that. And I've even gotten a little more some nights, 135, 140, which is just that much more money you're gonna make. Now, these are both level 3 med stations. So if you're level 2, pile of meds, simple. Don't even think about it. Just buy the components, craft, and shoot for about a 34K sell price, and you're gonna do fine, about 60K an hour. Even if you're level 1, there's a craft for you here, and that's the CMS. Buy your car med kits off of Therapist, shoot for about 16K on your med tools, and then 52, 53K on selling the CMSs, and you're gonna do pretty good, about 30, 32K an hour. Now, last up, we'll talk about the nutrition unit, and usually there's not a lot to talk about here, but because just the way the Labyrinth is going, there is quite a bit of value to be had. First up is going to be vodkas. Just buy the components. It doesn't matter if you get moonshine at 160 or 170. It doesn't phase it that much. And you're going to be buying your waters from Therapist anyways. The goal here is to sell your vodkas at 35K or more. Some of you might freak out because you do see them around 20, 25K, and 35K might seem like a lot. But if you go look at the prices on the flea market, you'll see that they're like 1 or 2 or 3 listed at each one of those slots. If you scroll down and you start looking for like stacks of 10 or 20 or 50, you'll notice those are 35, 40K. And that's what you should do too. Try to get a stack of 20 or 30 of these, sell them all together, shoot for 35K. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to catch those people that are trying to do the thick barter case, the thick items case. Sorry, the thick item case barter. They got to buy 50 vodkas, and honestly, most people when they do that, they're not going to try to save 10 or 15,000 on the whole over barter by going through and nitpicking and buying 1 or 2 vodkas at a time. They like seeing that 30 stack or that 50 stack, pressing one button, and they're done. They don't have to think about it. So that little bit is what you can take advantage of to get the most out of this craft and push 80K an hour. Now, yes, that's nutrition unit 3. So if you're on 2, Slickers is going to be your craft. Just buy the stuff you need, the chocolates and oat flakes at whatever price. It's not that big of a deal. Crackers you're going to get off a Therapist, and then shoot for 16.5 on the Slickers. This can be kind of iffy some days. I haven't had any fail on me, but I have had them sit for a full day because I've sold a stack like 30 or so, and they've sat for a full day, but they do sell. People burn through these because they're crafting ripstop, or they need their scav vest because they're doing Punisher or one of the other tasks, and they go through these, and that's where Slickers get used a lot, is for that scav vest barter. Now, just like the rest, there is one here. Even if you've only got a nutrition unit level 1, the emergency water ration is a great craft at level 1 nutrition unit. It's still going to make you decent money, 26K an hour. Just buy the stuff you need. Better yet, if you are drinking water bottles and you use up that water bottle, let's say you drink it down to 1 out of 60, it'll work. And then use that to craft an emergency water ration. It just adds that much more profit, pushes you to 38, 40K an hour. The goal is to sell at 32,000 a piece, but I have seen these push 35, 36, 37. And that is because I believe of the barter with the Salewas. Salewas run around 37K, so people will buy these emergency water rations to save a couple of thousand on their Salewas, doing the barter versus buying them off of Therapist or buying them off the flea market themselves. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And as always, I hope this video helps you guys out with your raids. So with that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out obviously a ton, but it also lets YouTube know that you want to see more of my content, and it'll show it to you. But with that, we'll wrap her up there. Thanks for watching as always. Good luck on your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.